Welcome to our Devos this week, where we have been talking about a better way to pray. Not a better way, more techniques for you to pray, but a way that you can pray that will get you to have more prayer. This is one of the biggest hurdles of the Christian life is, how do I pray? How do I make the time to pray? How do I become a person of prayer? And I would dare say that there's some things that you're assuming that aren't necessarily true of you when it comes to prayer. And one of the things that we always do is we focus on the words of prayer, okay? Like the formula, the Our Father prayer. Like we break it out. We've read the books on what Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. Like what all that means. You pray that, you do that, you figure out how you're going to do it. Okay, and it's words, 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 words. But I'm going to challenge you on something today that might help you to want to pray more. And it's simply this question. You ready? Do best friends always talk? What I mean by that is, think of your best friend, or maybe think of your spouse, or think of your children, people that you want to be around most. Think of that. I'm not going to say best friend, but think about the person that you want to be around more than anyone. Okay? That you're like, I love being around. I don't care if they're around. Like they've seen you at your best. They've seen you at your worst. Like your best relationship. Okay? Are you always talking like when they're around? Like as soon as they come in the room, like, okay, today I'm going to do this, and after this I'm going to do this, and then if silent comes, you go, okay, you try to fill it. Last week I wanted to tell you about this, and you want to fill it, you want to fill it, you want to fill it. Of course you don't. Like they wouldn't be your friend. They would be like, what's wrong with you? There's something wrong. Go to the doctor. There's something going on. Maybe you have COVID. I don't know what you have. There's something not right with you. That's what they would say. Because best friends, our closest relationships, you don't always have to talk. One of the things that makes a best relationship is sometimes when you can just sit comfortably in silence, going somewhere or doing something mundane and absolutely say nothing. I mean, nothing whatsoever. You don't have to. I learned this early on when I started working for the church. Pastor Mike, has six kids, okay? Imagine growing a family, having 6 kids, and living in a house where all you hear is 6 kids all day playing, fighting, doing different things. They come in and they come out. Well, one of the things I noticed about all the Gestricks, I've had friendships with all of them, is when you're with them, if they go quiet, you don't have to talk. You don't have to talk. They're not expecting you to talk. And times Pastor Mike and I are doing something, or we're working on something, and we'll be in his office or my office. He's got his computer open and he's working and reading. I have my laptop open and I'm doing something. We're working on something together, but we're quiet. Now, that sounds weird, but it's not, because if I wasn't comfortable with him, if he wasn't comfortable with me, if I wasn't comfortable with Pastor Jason or maybe Judy or Cindy and the staff, like if we're working on something, we would always feel the need to be talking, okay? But you don't always have to be talking in a relationship. In a true friendship, when you truly value that person, sometimes you just gotta, for lack of a better phrase, just shush. Shush your face, okay? And we're in fact instructed sometimes to do this in the Psalms. One of my favorite Psalms, Psalm chapter 46, verse 10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Sometimes it's not just what you say, and like you reading the Bible and trying to ingest God's voice to be able to, regurgitate it out through your life. No, it's just you coming to God's presence and sitting still because He's God, because He loves you, because you're in His presence, because that's enough sometimes. It's enough. When I read this verse, I made a challenge to myself in October, and this is a really, really difficult thing for me. I have a big time problem with stillness, a big time problem with being still. So I challenged myself every single day starting October 2nd to sit in silence for 10 minutes. Now, that silence could just be me thinking, could be praying, could be thinking maybe about what I have to do. It could be me just not doing anything and just trying to focus on things that maybe God has done in my life in recent times, or things that I want God to do. I'm not putting any formula to it. You know what I'm doing? I'm just sitting still. It is hard. I mean that. It is hard. The first week was so hard, but then what happened after the second week? I started to like it. I started to like just sitting there, imagining that I'm just there with God to be there. Not to get, not to speak, not to do, not to make an agenda, but instead just to be still and realize, oh my gosh, the creator of heaven and earth is here with me. He's here with me, like me. Not other people that are way godlier and people that are doing a lot more for him, but like he wants to be with me. He wants to sit with me. He wants me to recognize his presence in my life. And I really do believe, because I have a pretty good streak with this now, I believe it's really changing my quiet time, my prayer time. So I want to encourage you to do the same. If you're worried constantly about the words that you have to say, maybe just don't. Maybe just don't say the words. Maybe instead, let the act of sitting before God instead be what motivates you to pray. It's a better way to pray.